Our angel readings. Let's just start with our opening prayer and then off we go. O great spirit, Father Sky, Mother Earth, the winds, the waters, my father, my mother, Atanaha, all that is. We thank you for our lives and we thank you for these good people. We thank you for all that we are and all that we are to become. We dedicate our time spent together and our relationships with one another to you. We ask that our suffering be ended and our pain be lifted to the love and to the peace that lay beyond. Oh, amen. Namaste. So I'm on streaming software, guys. If you have a question, feel free to pop it directly underneath the video, and I will just follow the angel's guidance and zip between here, Instagram, and Facebook based on what would be of greatest service to everyone involved. Okay, just having a quick look. There's some people that have dropped me questions back here. Okay. Okay, so a few of my teachers have seen a genetic predisposition of mine towards numbers and mathematics. And I do it for my son. It's crazy. I did things I've never done using mathematics, which I've always loved in the past. And I was also an Olympian when I was a child. The second theta healing teacher, maybe I'm destined to make money only through supernatural lottery and not as a theta teacher and a healer. He repeated to me that I manifest money at the speed of light. But after that teacher, I haven't manifested anything more like this. Very often we have gifts inside our genetics, right? I have technology, mathematics. It's not the way it manifests in my life. But we often carry gifts, particularly from the ancestral line, that we don't really tap into or use. But you can 100% use those gifts to make money, 100%. However, right, when it comes to making money as a spiritual teacher, you are 100% worthy of making money as a spiritual teacher, but it takes showing up and being visible on a regular basis. It takes treating it like a business. It takes building your audience. When you guys see me connecting with you guys, you have to understand I've been doing Tuesday night talks and angel readings since I was 17 years old, and I'm 33 now. So my success didn't drop from the sky, okay? It came from regularly following my divine guidance and serving humanity the way that God told me to long before I had an audience or a following. So it's the exact same thing that I'm guiding you guys to do. It's not just lip service, and it's also not a way of making sure that you feel like we're equal. That's not that. That's not. It's not the kind of manipulation that I do. It's authentic honesty. I worked for years following my divine guidance before the recognition, before the success. So it's that you have to have courage to show up and do your divine life purpose. If you guys have heard of Satnam Kaur, she's a very famous spiritual musician. And she talks about when she first started playing her songs and channeling her spiritual music, that the first couple of weeks, everybody from the ashram would come and listen. And then after that, she would show up to do her practice or to do her music and her songs, and there'd be nobody there. And for months, she would just show up and perform, even though there was nobody in the room, right? In every single way that it triggered her ego, she would still keep showing up. And for me, it was the exact same thing. I would show up and do my Tuesday night talks, whether it was 5 people or whether it was 50. And it was always a dance in the beginning because I didn't know how to promote myself or how to be visible. I had no understanding of technology or the internet whatsoever. So it was very much hit and miss until word of mouth started getting out about what I was doing. And then things started to build momentum. But it didn't just manifest effortlessly in that sense. It manifested in the process of me following my divine guidance and in the process of me following my synchronicity. And synchronicity, for those of you that don't know, is the way that God communicates your guidance, is like these signs. So things like angel numbers, things like book falling off of shelves, things like you being invited onto podcasts or radio shows, or to assist in other people's workshops. They're like stepping stones to opportunities. And the more opportunities you say yes to, the more opportunities the universe gives, right? Okay, so that was a good first question. I'm going to bring in the business angels and just get them to keep dissolving the illusion right? That you're never going to make money as a theta healing teacher or as a spiritual teacher, and show you it's not real, right? It's just the illusion. Focus on exactly what you're offering, exactly what it costs, and on being consistent and showing up in a way that's authentic to you. Because of my dyslexia and my dysgraphia, right? Videos come a lot more naturally to me than writing. I still write copy, I still communicate via newsletters and emails, but videos, channeling, discovery calls are by far what comes easier to me and what makes me happy. You know, a lot of people are like, they're sales calls, I don't want to do them, or blah, blah. It's not how I see it at all. These are my students. It's my job to guide them into spiritual mastery. I want to know them. I want to know where they are. I want to know if I can help them, right? And I want to make them feel safe and wanted and loved and like they matter and like they belong. And there's nothing like a real conversation to do that. And I think a lot of spiritual people complain about being isolated, but they won't make the effort to connect. And that is the downside, is the time that it takes away from my son or from my husband. But that's why I don't do this kind of I do angel readings all year long, but I don't do, you know, discovery calls and things all year long, because the level of energy required isn't sustainable unless it's seasonal, right? I love the angel reading, the connection, but it's nothing like the level of connection that you get when you're talking with other healers and other teachers, and you're having that synergy of not just connection, but that divine timing that's coming across. So I never think of things like discovery calls or as sales calls. I always think of them as, synchronicities. It's God's way of putting me in touch with the people that I need to be in touch with. And that doesn't just make it a lot more natural, it makes it fun. It makes it like something that I enjoy. So then I don't feel drained or tired, etc. So you see how the shift in perspective is a miracle, because you don't resent the things that serve humanity. You end up loving them. Okay. Just scanning for a few more questions. Iona saying, what's my number one money block at the moment? Visibility. Visibility, my love. So if you guys haven't had a look at narcissist family structure, it's worth, you can Google narcissist family system, and the articles will go into depth about like there's not often a narcissist and an enabler. So the codependent, right, and the narcissist. And then there's the different roles that the children will play. So the golden child, the black sheep, the invisible one, and these are recognized family systems, social work structures. So you can YouTube that and have a look at the beliefs that you need to heal around healing inner children. And visible. And when you were asked to be invisible, very often parents ask their children to be invisible, right? And to be quiet. But that's what blocks your visibility, because when we're wondering why we have so many women and men that are incapable of being visible, it's because we were put in those, energetic cages through our childhood, being taught that being invisible is the only way to be safe, or the only way to survive, right? And often as children, we focused on what we were learning or our hobbies as a way of self-soothing and getting away from the emotional abuse that we were getting from our parents, or the inability to connect. So now as an adult, you'll find yourself stuck in this cycle of learning, course after course after course, but never able to execute or take divine action or activate the gifts that you've then mastered and learned and studied. And this will be a mirror of being forced to be the invisible child, right? Inside the archetypal structure. Just remember that when it comes to like narcissist family structure, or it's the same as addict, because addicts are narcissists, right? So you can study, I just Google narcissist family structure, it will come up, but you'll be able to see the imprint. I'll send Hera a link as well to pop underneath, so you can see some interesting articles on this topic. Mai saying, hi Skylar, hi everyone. I join your answers for the others to talk to me too. Yeah, it's amazing how the angels manage to talk to everyone through the questions that they ask me to, or that they guide me to answer. Even me, they really talk to me when I talk to you guys as well. I have a question. Will I become a theta healing instructor and speaker? Thank you. This is a financial block. So when there's a financial block. It's a real big, there's a real fear, um, that it like you don't have the money to invest, or that it won't come back to you. So can we release the fear of investing in your education? Okay, that's looking good. I love those talks. They were so good. Yeah, our Tuesday night talks were so much fun. I still miss them, right? But COVID changed everything. I don't even live in London anymore. Okay, Beth is saying, how do I become unstuck with work, with my love life, and with health? Look, the answer to becoming unstuck in any area of your life is to start pouring love. If you're stuck, it's because you're coming from a place of fear. All right? So take a minute and just say, Creator, I know that I'm stuck because I'm coming from a place of fear. I don't feel safe moving forward. So I'm giving you my fear of moving forward. I'm giving you my resistance to change. I'm giving you all the different parts of me that think I can't do it. There's not enough time, there's not enough money, there's not enough energy, there's not enough support. All the parts of me that are angry that no one's just come to save me and that I haven't been able to be further along than I am. There we go. There we go. And then we're just going to send unconditional love to work, to family, to divine life purpose, to you. Instead of resisting life, we're going to send love to life. If you love life, it loves you back. Okay. Oh, I'm going to have a quick look on Instagram. Addicts are narcissists. Can you elaborate? This is very interesting. Yeah, so I did a lot. I think when I came out of university, I joined Codependence Anonymous for a few years. I really got into the work of Melody Beattie, and it's because in my family, I think particularly my grandma, she was, right, there's no diagnosis, but I think she was a functioning alcoholic. When she came to visit us, she always had a drink in her hand. And she was never drunk, but it was how she coped with a lot of her feelings, um, and a lot of her trauma. So I quickly realized that I didn't want to drink, which is how I became teetotal at around 15. But I also realized there was a deep kind of suffering that I wasn't able to put my finger on. And that's when I discovered Melody Beattie through Marion Williamson, and Codependence Anonymous. And they run free 12-step programs completely online that you can join from anywhere in the world, to work through your codependency. And they obviously, codependents are attracted to narcissists, and narcissism can manifest as extreme workaholism, or it can manifest as an addiction, or it can manifest as what's it called, like extreme attention seeking or dramatic behavior. There's 4 different types of narcissism. I can go into that in a different video. But long story short, addicts are completely obsessed with themselves and with meeting their emotional needs with the addiction. They stop being able to see anybody else, right? They can't see the damage the addiction is doing to their family. They can't see the damage it's doing to their bank account, until eventually their addiction ends up killing them. Um, So addicts are 100% narcissists, as a personality structure, and it's very well known. It's very much talked about in depth inside Melody Beattie books and the codependency circles. So yeah, if your partner is an addict, then they struggle with narcissism. I don't believe that narcissism can't be healed. I believe narcissism can be healed, just like I believe people can overcome addictions. But it's narcissism is a deep fear of shame, a deep unconscious fear of shame. It's a belief that shame will kill you. So they avoid shame at all costs. And it often requires, either a hypnotic intervention or a very strong um, life intervention, like an accident or hitting rock bottom, like it does with addicts. And when you really realize there are consequences to this, and it does involve your free will, right? But the same way that they used to say once an addict, always an addict, I don't believe once a narcissist, always a narcissist, just like I don't believe once a codependent, always a codependent. I think these are names for deep traumas and patterns that we identify as a collective story, just like an archetype, and that we then work through until we return to wholeness. And that process takes longer for some than others. But yeah, there's whole structures. I will put the link to some of the articles below, so you can go and have a look. I loved and miss your talks at Hello Love. Oh, Hello Love's an amazing centre in London that actually is a cancer charity. They do incredible work. So if you're in London, it's worth popping in to see them. They're still open. And yeah, it was an incredible place to do talks and events from. Okay. Any guidance as to my divine partner, last compatibility soulmate that attracted narcissist, and work on that as much as I attract them. Now I create fear around narcissists. Thank you. Okay. So if you're attracting a narcissist into your life, it means that you have a narcissism wound inside you, right? So we all have a masculine and a feminine. And that means that if your mum was a narcissist, the narcissism wound will be in your mother gene and it will be coming down the female line. If your father was a narcissist, then the narcissism wound will be in the father, like the male genes, and it will be coming down the male line, right? And yes, narcissism is a gene, okay, that you can open and close as well. Just like anxiety, depression, codependency, it's a gene. So first of all, you want to close the gene. But then you also want to go exactly to this. What is the beliefs for healing narcissism? That nobody can help you, that nobody understands you, that life and everybody is against you, right? And that you will always be alone, that you'll always have to do everything by yourself, and that you can't trust anyone. Those are the core beliefs that hold a narcissism wound inside the DNA. And if you believe that narcissism can't be healed, then that also blocks Creator from doing the healing, right? But there's nothing that God can't heal, as long as the person has free will to heal it. So it's not outside of you, it's inside of you as an inherited wound. And then that deep guilt that our inner child feels for not being able to save the parent that was stuck inside this wound means that we recreate it. And that's how we can pull in or attract narcissistic partners, because it's what's familiar, it's what we grew up with. So narcissism is what feels like family to us. And what's unfamiliar, right, is attention and kindness and love. And I see this with women all the time, because how many women do you know that are attracted to bad boys? Right? And by bad boys, right, narcissist, right? It's men that don't care about their feelings, don't care about them, don't make them a priority, have no intention of giving them what they want or even caring about what they want. But to them, that means love, because that's what they were raised with. That's what they believe is love. And that becomes a distortion, right? It becomes a distortion. Now, if I just got my counseling book here from psychotherapy, but there's different distortions that your mind can do, right? And one of them is called emotional reasoning, and that's we feel guilt and therefore assume we are guilty. In the case of abuse, we can think, I'm guilty, I must have done something to deserve it. And then there's also what they call crystal ball gazing. The last woman I asked me out refused me, or the last man I went out with was a narcissist, so I'm sure to be rejected or end up with another narcissist if I go out again. So it's page 160 of my my counseling book that goes into cognitive distortions. But there's a lot of different mental distortions that we use, which is what you work through, with therapists and counselors, etc. So you can see the difference between what's really happening versus the way that your mind defends itself when it's in trauma or when it's wounded or when it's in pain. Okay, so we are then basically we're then attracted to narcissists or people who are wounded when we haven't looked at the parts of ourselves that carry these beliefs, both in the wound, because we're still carrying the beliefs, but also in the parent that we couldn't save, right? You couldn't save the alcoholic. You couldn't save the narcissist. They will never feel loved. They will never feel wanted. They will never stop playing games. And that little child deep down thinks that it should be able to save its parents, which is a complete 180, right? It's like Course in Miracles says, the world is upside down. The child is not supposed to save the parent. That's not how it works unless you're an adult child. And even then, you can't save anyone. People have their own free will. So it's the other way around. God can save if people give their free will consent for divine intervention in their life. But we can't save our parents. And it's releasing the guilt that we feel for not having been able to save them, any belief that it's our fault that they were never able to recover or heal. But yeah, addicts are always narcissists, and it can be different kinds of narcissism. So for example, with smoking, it's like covert narcissism. It's the fact that it's like, I don't care if I get cancer. I don't care if I die. I don't care how that will affect my family or anyone else around me, right? I just want to do what I do. But I'll put the link underneath so you guys can have a look. Marcella, my love, I know that you wrote to me in private and I answered. You were actually the first person whose angel reading that I did when I came online. But here's the deal. It's not going in. I can tell it's not going in. So you need to work on the panic because you're not letting yourself receive this, my love. So I would work on a receiving wound, because right now you have that belief that nothing can help you. So you have to really go and have a look at why you're blocking receiving. And we covered a little bit of this last week, and it's also very relevant with abundance. Because in order to be able to be abundant, you have to be able to receive recognition, money, praise without feeling like you owe people something, like you have this massive debt, right? You have to believe that what you're offering is of equal worth to what you are receiving. And that means your self-worth has to increase, but it also means that you have to change the belief that receiving is an abuse of power or that receiving is an act of manipulation. And that can happen when, parents are like, well, I'll give you this toy if you stop crying, or I'll give you the Coke if you take your medicine, right? It can be this energy of receiving something good only happens if I have to do a task or I have to obey someone beforehand. But you want to have a look at what you learned receiving was. It can also happen if people gave things to you and then lorded it over your head, right? I gave you the opportunities, I gave you your life, I gave you the apartment, I gave you the money, and then afterwards they made you feel guilty for taking it and like you owed them forever, that kind of guilt trip scenario. But I promise you, there's our wounds may look unique, but the healings that we have are the same, right? Realizing that you are worthy of financial abundance, emotional abundance, spiritual abundance is the same for everybody. The story to the realization is different, but the truth remains the same. The truth is you are worthy. The truth is it is available to you. The truth is it's only fear stopping you from having it right now. The truth is it's only divine right action that's stopping you from moving in that direction. It's the biggest gap between successful spiritual teachers and people who are incredible healers but can't make that shift into being a teacher or into being an entrepreneur is action. It's divine action. It's knowing is not enough. You have to take divine right action. In the business world, it's called execution, which is a very violent word. And Anthony Robbins talks about taking massive action. But the reality is, if you're not taking consistent action in the direction of your dreams on a daily basis, and that is not just reading a book or picking up an oracle card deck or doing a reading. It is action in the direction of serving your ministry, of spreading God's light on earth, of being more visible, of making a bigger impact. Then that what happens is if you do take divine guidance, it starts to become cumulative, and as it becomes cumulative, it starts to build momentum, and then the opportunities start to come faster and faster and thicker and stronger. What happens is that if you don't take divine action, there's an affirmation every single day that it's never going to happen for you. And then that starts to build momentum, and that starts to become stronger and stronger. So the only way of breaking that pattern is to heal the original wound, but also to take consistent action in the direction of your dreams. And Doreen Virtue hammered that into me with chakra clearing meditation. You pray, you listen, you take guided action. You pray, you listen, you take guided action. She hypnotized that into my subconscious mind. And it's the same thing you need to do to yourself. You need to hypnotize yourself into taking consistent divine guided action. Okay. Barbara Young is saying, hi, Skylar, can you please give me healing guidance for my wee dog, Spencer? He just doesn't stop barking when I'm doing therapies from home. I've tried everything, giving him treats, playing music. Oh, Barbara, it's boundaries. You need to go and watch Caesar Milan. It's lacking boundaries. He is at the moment, he is the pack leader in your house and not you. So you need to basically put him down in the pecking order. You are the pack leader and he is the follower in your home. But it's an anxiety bark, and it's because you have deep fear around setting boundaries, even with the dog. So he's giving you an opportunity for a miracle. I'm going to send in Archangel Ariel, who's the angel of animals as well, to help you with this, but you're going to have to train him and you're going to have to set some boundaries. You can't bribe him, I'm afraid. There's a big difference between bribery and boundaries. Barbara says, I've not yet got clients, so I can look at renting a place to do my therapies. Look, nowadays, you don't need that. Nowadays, what you need is a platform. So it can be Skype or it can be Zoom. I ran all of my sessions from Skype for years. I only literally switched to Zoom last year, and it was because Theta made it a requirement to teach. And I thought I may as well do mine at the same time. And the connection was stronger, right, than Skype when I moved to the middle of nowhere. But you don't need an office to do healing therapies. You need a laptop, right? When you start having an income coming in, then you can rent a room if it's appropriate for the kind of therapies that you do. But 100%, if you're getting divine guidance to get a room in an osteopath clinic or in rent the room from a crystal shop so that you can do your angel readings from there, then follow that guidance. But you don't need it to bring in income. That's the old way of doing things. It's mad now. I saw people doing psychic readings on TikTok, and you could literally send them gifts as they were doing their psychic readings, like little rose gifts, and these represent like little financial donations. So you really don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to rent anything. You don't have to invest anything. You can do your healing calls even from Facebook now. So what you just have to do is energetically open up and start being visible online and being clear about what you offer. Okay? And telling people how to work with you. I know it sounds simple, but it's not. Look at how many posts there are going through your Facebook stream, your TikTok stream, your Instagram stream every day. If it's not clear from the post that you're making, right, how they can work with you and how much it costs, 9 out of 10 people are not going to slow down, click on your website and go over there and find out which is your services page, what service is correct for them. They're just going to look at the post. So if you write a post and you literally put, this is the session, this is the price, this is how many sessions I have left this month, that makes a huge difference because people are already overwhelmed and they're already stressed. And once they see that on a consistent daily basis, that you're offering sessions on a consistent regular basis, they'll start contacting you, they'll start DMing you because they'll know when they need help, they'll think about you, right? But if you're just making a post and it doesn't say anything about what you offer or how much it costs, that's a source of anxiety for people, because if they go and look at the website page and they can't afford it or whatever, then that makes them feel bad because they've been looking forward to working with you. Whereas if from the post from the beginning, it's this is what I do, this is how much it costs, this is how you can work with me, then they can find a way of affording you, or they can what's it called, find people that are at the level that they can afford right now, right? But it polarizes your audience in the correct way, in that it lets them know what level you're serving at, what it is that's the exchange for your service, and how they can work with you in other ways. So for example, if you can't work with me on a one-to-one session, you can work with me in angel readings, you can work with me in master classes, but that's very clear from my marketing. And the fact that I work as a medical intuitive is very, very clear from the posts that I write. You can't look at any of my social media without knowing that. And that's what you want to do with your posts, so that people can no longer look at your social media, look at how you're communicating without knowing who you are and knowing what you do. Keep it really, really simple. Okay. Love and Sunshine is saying, may I ask if I made the right move? I relocated back home to Hungary from the UK, looking for a new role, wondering if I will find a job here or if I should move back there. It's a little challenging. My heart, when I tune into you, your angels are saying that yes, you made the right move, but you need to unplug from the collective consciousness, because the collective consciousness in London is very different than in Hungary. So you have to be more conscious of managing that energy, because in Hungary, the energy is much further behind. London is kind of like, and the UK is like on the precipice. It's always on the forefront of the next big thing. And it's very accepted that you can make a living from a laptop here, things like that. Going to Europe, I find energetically is like going backwards in time 10 years, belief system wise. So I always have to unplug and from the collective consciousness, particularly because of the recession and the wars and stuff, and just plug into, I'm going to find the perfect opportunity. The same rules that apply here apply everywhere in the world. I can have abundance in any country, and anywhere in the world, abundance is mine, and just anchoring it into that country. Also having a conversation with Hungary itself. So I always have a conversation, had a conversation with England when I moved there, had a conversation with Scotland when I moved there, had a conversation with Dubai when I went to work there, to say, I'm here, this is how I give service, this is how I can help you as a country and help your people, but I need your help. Can you please help me in every way that you can? Literally use the energy of the country, have a conversation with Hungary or with the country that you're in, and create a loving dynamic, sending love to the country and receiving love from that country. And it'll make everything a lot smoother. Hi, Sky. Me and my husband are trying for a baby, but so far it's gone more wrong than good. I'm having some health trouble, which seems to be holding me back. Thank you. Okay, so let's just start by bringing in Archangel Gabriel and Archangel Raguel, that are the angels of children and fertility and conception. Archangel Gabriel is responsible for all the miracle babies, just in case you're wondering. Gabriel and Jesus, Mother Mary, she's very good at miracle baby manifesting. Now, our body is very good at telling us um what we told it years ago. So when you were in high school or university, how many of you sat there looking at a pregnancy test at one point or another and thought, thank God I'm not pregnant, right? How many of you were told in high school that getting pregnant was the quote unquote worst thing that could happen? How many of you had parents that said to you, just don't get pregnant when you went out with a boy on a date? All of that is unconscious conditioning to your mind, right? And to your body. Now it's 10 years later, 20 years later, you're in that committed relationship and you want to make a baby, but the body got the message. Every time you use contraception, every time your parents told you, do not get pregnant or you'll bring shame on the family. Every single time that you and your husband were like, I didn't get pregnant this month, we're not ready to have a baby, or we can't afford a baby, right? That message went into your body. So can we release all of those messages, all that conditioning, all that programming from your womb, ovaries, etc. now? Oh, and could we download you with Creator's Perspective, Definition, Understanding with the fruit of the womb? With Creator's Perspective, Definition, Understanding of conception, with Creator's Perspective, Definition, Understanding of pregnancy. And Creator's Perspective, Definition, Understanding of birth. And also Creator's Perspective, Definition, Understanding of every phase of pregnancy. And just release any fears from you and your partner in the subconscious, on your subconscious mind, of not being good parents. Can I release the belief nobody's ready to be a parent and replace it with, I have Creator's Perspective, Definition, Understanding of being ready to be a parent. And I am ready now. I have Creator's Perspective, Definition, Understanding of being worthy of being a parent, and I'm worthy now. And so it is. Okay, Terry saying, hi, Madam Sky. I'm always taken advantage of by my co-workers. May I ask the angels for healing and guidance on this? Okay, so I'm going to bring in the career angels and just send you so much unconditional love. Anyone else? There's quite a few of you that are experiencing this. And let's just give you Creator's Perspective, Definition, Understanding on saying no. Sometimes no is the most loving response. And also of not being afraid of allowing people to go through the consequences of their own behavior. So when you really understand love, you understand that love is letting people go through what they need to go through to discover who they are. And everyone's curriculum looks different. For me, I had to go through illnesses, I had to go through failures, I had to go through relationship problems, and many, many lifetimes to figure out who I was. But it was only by going through those challenges that I learned to rely on God's strength, that I learned that I was strong, that I learned about grace and miracles and divinity, and that I completely changed my definition of not just what success was and authenticity was, but of who I really am, right? You cannot deny someone their journey, their process, without blocking their evolution as a soul, okay? Sometimes you have to go through an experience to figure out who you are. So you're not abusing somebody or neglecting somebody by letting them experience the consequence of their actions. You are holding space and trusting that they are capable of working it out, that they will do it, that they can solve the problem. But the way that you witness it changes everything. If you witness it thinking they're such an idiot, they're never going to figure it out, then it just destroys the process and it creates negative things for that person. But if you witness them in their struggle, believing that they are strong enough to overcome it, believing that this is their way of remembering who they really are, and that they're tapping into their divine strength and they're tapping into their divine light, and that they are clever and that they are strong and that they are capable, and that they will remember that, right? And that's what you affirm. It completely changes what manifests for that person. So it's allowing people at work and people at home to go through what they need to grow through. Okay, so they can become who they are, and accepting that that is an expression of unconditional love, commonly known as tough love, but just as real as every other kind of love. Hi, Sky. I've been following my divine guidance. Now I need a little bit of financial abundance. Can the angels help me, please? So I'm getting the exact same thing that we covered earlier. Visibility, 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 visibility. So just sending so much unconditional love to all the little children that were asked to be invisible in their families and they grew up in narcissistic families where they were asked to be invisible. Okay. Hi, Sky. I want to ask the angels if it's part of my divine timing to move to London, or is it just an idea I am fixed with? It's part of your divine timing, darling. You're going to London. Just say yes and talk to London. We had that conversation. So bring in the country that you're thinking about moving to, or you're being divinely guided to move to. I'll bring in Scotland in front of me, and I want you to have that conversation. Let them know your name, where you are, what you came here to do, how you came here to serve. And then ask for what you need from the country. The abundance, the soulmates, and the support, and then feel the energy of that country coming up your feet, same way that you feel the energy of the earth. Let yourself receive the love of the country that you're in. Ooh. Okay, there we go. Hi, Skylar. Thank you in advance. Is the partner I am with now my lifelong partner, or do I have a divine soulmate coming my way? The partner you're with now is your long-term partner. Um, if so, what are the blocks to receiving your divine life partner? The block to allowing them to be a divine life partner is believing that you can do it on your own. There's a real fear in you that you can't do it alone. And you're being asked to be the leader here. You're being asked to step up. And it's like there's a lot of work and a lot of learning. And I just want to teach. I don't want to figure out the business side. I don't want to do the marketing. I don't want to do all that stuff. And it's not how it works. It's a package. It's kind of like being a mom. I don't get to say I don't want to do this bit or I don't want to change diapers. I have to do all of it, right? It's the same thing when it comes to your actualization as a soul. There comes a point where you've mastered it that then you can give it to somebody else. But in the beginning, part of you developing compassion and mastery in running a business or running a team is you understanding the different roles. And that's how you go through them. And it's also how you understand the value of the different roles, right? Through the contribution that they make back to the company as well. So it's an important journey. Um, it's not about the end so much as it's about who you become in achieving those goals. Hi, Sky. I feel a deep sadness in my heart. What is it and how may I shift it? It's because you're blocked from receiving validation and gratitude. It's like you're not, if someone gives you a compliment, you don't believe that it's real. It's like, oh, that's not, that they didn't really mean it, or they're just saying that. Or is it's like as a way of being manipulated. So can we release your fear of receiving good? You are worthy of pleasure. You are worthy of good, right? So a compliment feels good. Validation feels good. Recognition feels good. So if you believe that pleasure is bad, then you're going to block that. If you believe that you're supposed to do everything from a place of sacrifice because of religious stuff, you're going to block that. So can we release you from blocking your good? Okay. Okay, I'm going to stop here today, guys. Um, let's just do our closing prayer. I'll be back at 4 from 4 till 5 to do our abundance. O great Spirit, Father, Sky, Mother Earth, the winds, the waters, my Father, my Mother, Atanaha, all that is. We thank you for our lives and we thank you for these good, good people. We thank you for all that we are and all that we are to become. We dedicate our time spent together and our relationships with one another to you. We ask that our suffering be ended and our pain be lifted to the love and to the peace that lay beyond. Aho, Amen, Namaste.